This secret changes everything. That feeling deep in your gut, that whisper in your mind, it's telling you something. You ever felt like life's moving, but you're stuck? Like success is calling your name, but you keep hesitating. Listen, I know that feeling. I've been there. Doubt creeping in, fear of failure whispering lies, making you feel like you ain't enough. Let me tell you something, you're closer than you think. And the difference between where you are and where you want to be, it comes down to one secret, one root that separates those who struggle from those who thrive. See, people think success is about talent. They believe it's about luck, connections, or the right timing. But I'm here to tell you it's about something deeper, something within you waiting to be unlocked. This secret, it changes everything. The way you think, the way you move, the way you see yourself. It's what turns fear into power, setbacks into setups, and obstacles into stepping stones. I need you to understand something. Your mind is your greatest weapon. But if you ain't in control of it, then who is? Most people let their thoughts run wild, let fear and self-doubt take the wheel. That's why they stay stuck. That's why they never break through. You gotta take back control. You gotta master the psychology behind success. Because success ain't just about working hard, it's about thinking right. Think about it. How many times have you doubted yourself? How many times have you felt like a fraud, like you didn't belong? That fraudulent feeling, that's what stops most people. They convince themselves they ain't ready. But the truth is, nobody starts ready. Nobody wakes up one day suddenly fearless, confident, and successful. It's a process. And the first step, you gotta shift your mindset. See, most people are trapped by negative influences. They let fear dictate their choices. They let their past mistakes define them, but not you. Not anymore. You're here because deep down, you know there's more for you. You know you were built for something greater. And this secret I'm about to share with you is the key to unlocking that version of you. So stay with me, because by the time we're done, you'll never see life the same way again. Listen, I need you to hear me on this. Success doesn't start with what you do. It starts with what you believe. Most people think it's about grinding harder, putting in more hours, pushing themselves to the limit. And yeah, hard work is part of it. But if your mind ain't right, none of that matters. Because if deep down you don't believe you deserve success, if you don't see yourself as the kind of person who wins, you'll find a way to sabotage yourself every single time. This is where most people get it twisted. They think failure means they're not good enough. They hit a setback and suddenly they start doubting everything. Let me tell you something, setbacks don't mean stop. Setbacks mean learn. Every single person who's ever made it big has had moments where they felt lost, moments where they questioned if they were good enough. The difference? They didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. They let it teach them. I've had times in my life where I felt like I wasn't enough, like I wasn't the guy people thought I was. And that fear, that doubt, it made me hesitate. It made me second guess myself. But here's what I realized. You can outrun fear. You can't hide from it. The only way to overcome fear is to face it, to walk through it and prove to yourself that you're stronger than the doubt in your mind. And this is what separates the people who win from the people who stay stuck. The winners, they understand that fear is part of the journey. They know that doubt will always try to creep in. But instead of letting it control them, they push through. They take action, even when they don't feel ready. Because here's the truth, nobody ever feels ready. Nobody ever wakes up one day feeling like they've got it all figured out. The difference between the people who succeed and the people who don't, action. The willingness to move forward even when they're scared, even when they don't have all the answers, even when everything in them is screaming, what if I fail? And listen, I get it. You've got responsibilities. You've got people depending on you. You've got bills to pay, obligations to meet, and maybe you're thinking, man, I don't have time to chase a dream. But let me ask you this, if you don't make time for your dreams, then who will? If you don't believe in yourself enough to go after what you want, then who will? There's always going to be a reason to wait. Always going to be an excuse. Always going to be something standing in your way. But the truth, the real truth, the only thing stopping you is you. It's your mindset. It's the story you tell yourself about why you can't, why you're not ready, why it's not the right time. But here's what I need you to understand. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment where everything is lined up just right. The only time you have is right now. And that's the secret most people miss. The secret that changes everything. It's not about waiting for the right moment. It's about making the moment right. It's about deciding that today is the day you stop doubting yourself, stop letting fear control you, and start taking action. Because let me tell you something, everybody who's ever achieved something great started exactly where you are right now. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't feel completely ready. They started anyway. And that one decision, that one moment where they chose to move forward despite the fear, that's what changed everything. And you have that same choice right now to decide that your past does not define you, that your setbacks do not control you, that your fear is not bigger than your purpose. So let me ask you, are you going to keep waiting for the perfect time? Or are you going to take control and create? That's the secret. The future you want is built by the actions you take today. You see, most people spend their whole lives waiting for confidence, waiting for motivation, waiting for the stars to align. But life doesn't work like that. You don't wake up one day suddenly feeling ready. You don't just stumble into success. You build it brick by brick, day by day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. That's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. Not talent, not luck, discipline, the ability to show up for yourself even when it's inconvenient, the ability to push through even when nobody's watching. And I know that's not the sexy answer. I know people want to hear there's some shortcut, some trick, some secret hack that makes success easy. But let me tell you something, if it was easy, everybody would have it. Everybody would be living their dream life, but they're not. You know why? Because most people give up when it gets hard. They stop when things don't go their way. They let setbacks break them instead of build them. But you're not most people. You wouldn't still be here if you were. Something inside you is waking up. That fire, that hunger, that's the real you. And I need you to protect that, because the world is full of distractions, full of people who will try to convince you that you can't, that you're dreaming too big, that you should just settle. And let me tell you right now, do not listen to them. Do not take advice from people who have given up on their own dreams. Do not let small-minded people talk you out of big goals. Listen, I've seen it happen over and over and over again. Someone has a dream, a vision, a calling deep inside them. And instead of going all in, they start listening to the wrong voices. Friends, family, society, all telling them why it won't work, why it's risky, why they should just play it safe. And what happens? They shrink. They second-guess themselves. They trade their potential for comfort. But comfort is a lie. Comfort will steal your future. Because growth, success, they don't live in the comfort zone. They live in the moments where you push past fear, where you do the thing that scares you, where you take the risk and bet on yourself even when nobody else does. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who grew up believing he wasn't enough. Every time he tried to step out, to take a risk, to do something different, he heard that voice in his head telling him, "You're not smart enough. You're not talented enough. You're not ready." And for years, he believed it. He played small. He stayed in his lane. Until one day, he realized something: that voice was lying. That voice wasn't telling the truth. It was fear disguising itself as logic. It was doubt trying to keep him from his potential. And the moment he stopped listening, his life changed. He took the leap. He bet on himself, and he never looked back. Now let me ask you, what's the voice in your head telling you? Is it lifting you up, or is it tearing you down? Because if it's not pushing you forward, and it's holding you back. And this is why mindset is everything. This is why the way you think determines the way you live. If you walk around believing you're not enough, believing you don't have what it takes, then that's exactly what your life will reflect. But the second you change the story you tell yourself, the second you decide to see yourself as powerful, capable, unstoppable, that's the moment you stop waiting and start creating. Because here's the truth: you are already enough. You have everything you need inside you right now. The only thing missing: action, the willingness to step forward, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're scared. And yeah, you're gonna fail sometimes. You're gonna fall. You're gonna have moments where you question yourself. That's part of the process. But failure is not the opposite of success, it's the path to it. Every great entrepreneur, every successful person you've ever admired, they've all failed more times than they can count. The difference is, they didn't stop. They learned. They adjusted. They kept going. And that's exactly what you have to do. Because the truth is, most people don't fail. They quit. They stop just short of the breakthrough. Just short of the moment when things finally start working. But not you. You've come too far to turn back now. You've already invested too much in yourself to let fear win. So I'm gonna ask you one last time, are you ready to take control of your life? Because this is the moment, right here, right now. The only question is, what are you gonna do with it? You ever wonder why some people succeed while others stay stuck? Why some people seem to rise above setbacks while others let challenges break them? It's not because they're luckier. It's not because they're smarter. It's because they made a decision, a real decision, to stop letting life happen to them and start taking control. See, most people don't even realize they're living on autopilot. They wake up, go to work, come home, scroll through their phone, watch a little TV, and do it all over again the next day. And the scariest part, they don't even question it. They don't stop to ask themselves, is this the life I want? They just assume this is the way it has to be. Let me tell you something: life is not happening to you. It's happening because of you. Every choice you make, every belief you hold, every action you take is shaping your future. And the reason some people stay stuck, why others rise, it all comes down to the mindset they choose. There's a psychology fact most people don't realize. Your brain will always look for evidence to support what you already believe. If you believe you're unlucky, your brain will focus on every setback, every rejection, every bad break. If you believe you're not good enough, your brain will remind you of every failure, every flaw, every reason why you should quit. But the second you start believing in yourself, the second you decide that success is inevitable, your brain starts looking for proof of that instead. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. You start finding solutions instead of excuses. And let me be real with you, most people don't get this. Most people never realize that their thoughts are shaping their reality. They think success is just about working hard. But if you don't train your mind to work for you instead of against you, you'll always feel like you're fighting an uphill battle. That's why so many people quit before they even get started. They let that little voice in their head, the one that says, you're not good enough, or you're too late, or you don't have what it takes, talk them out of chasing their dreams. And the sad part, they believe it. They accept that voice as truth. But let me ask you, what if that voice is wrong? What if all those doubts, all those fears, all those reasons why you think you can't, what if they're just lies? What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to stop believing those lies and start believing in yourself? Because here's the truth, your dream life, the success you want, the goals you've been thinking about for years, they are possible. They're not just for other people. They're not just for the lucky ones. But you have to be willing to do what most people won't. You have to be willing to bet on yourself. And that's where most people hesitate. They look at successful people and think, they must have had some advantage I don't have. They assume they had connections or money or the perfect timing. But let me tell you something, most of the people you admire, they started with nothing. No money, no support, no guarantee that things would work out. The only thing they had, a decision, a mindset, a refusal to quit. And you have that same choice right now. So let's talk about action, because mindset is important. But if you don't act on it, nothing changes. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It's execution. Successful people don't wait until they feel ready, they start. They take risks. They step into uncertainty. They fail, they learn, and they adjust. But most importantly, they don't stop. They don't wait for motivation to hit. They create it through action. Think about it. Have you ever had a goal you wanted to achieve, but you kept putting it off? You kept telling yourself, I'll start when I have more time, or I'll go for it when I feel more confident. How long have you been waiting? How much longer are you willing to wait? Because here's the truth, there will never be a perfect time. There will always be obstacles. There will always be reasons to delay. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. The only way to build confidence, action. The only way to develop discipline, action. The only way to see progress, action. You don't need more information. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to start. And you're gonna fail sometimes. You're gonna have moments where you wonder if it's worth it. But here's what separates the successful from the average. They keep going. They don't let failure define them. They use it as fuel. So I'm asking you right now, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for someone to give you permission? Are you waiting for the fear to disappear? Because that's never gonna happen. The only way to overcome fear is to move through it. Your future is waiting. Your success is waiting. But it's not gonna come to you. You have to go out and claim it. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna keep waiting, or are you gonna start making things happen? Let's get real for a second. You want success, right? You want to build something meaningful, to break free from the limits that have been holding you back. But let me ask you, how bad do you actually want it? Because here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Wanting something isn't enough. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants financial freedom. Everyone wants to be in great shape, have a strong mindset, live a life they're proud of. But very few are actually willing to do what it takes. Most people love the idea of success, but they're not willing to embrace the process. They say they want to win, but the moment things get tough, they fold. They let excuses take over. They let fear keep them stuck. And that's why most people never make it. It's not because they're not capable. It's not because they don't have potential. It's because when it's time to grind, when it's time to show up, even when it's uncomfortable, they back off. But listen to me, success is not supposed to be comfortable. Growth is not supposed to be easy. If it was, everybody would have it. The reason so few people break through is because they don't push past the resistance. They stop at the first sign of discomfort. Think about it. How many times have you started something with excitement only to slow down the moment it got hard? How many times have you set a goal, started strong, but then let distractions, self-doubt, or setbacks knock you off track? See, this is where the real test happens. Not when things are easy, but when they're difficult, when you don't feel like showing up, when your motivation fades. when you start questioning yourself. This is where most people quit, but it's also where champions are made. And let me tell you something, your mind is always going to look for a way out. It's always going to give you reasons why you should wait, why you should slow down, why you should take it easy. But that's the trap, that's the lie, because the truth, everything you want is on the other side of discipline. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Discipline is what turns potential into reality. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And yeah, people love to talk about motivation. They love to watch motivational videos, listen to inspiring speeches, read success stories. But let me tell you something, motivation is temporary. It fades. It comes and goes. But discipline, that's what keeps you moving forward, even on the days when you don't feel like it. You don't need to feel like working to get it done. You don't need to be in the mood to chase your goals. You just need to show up every single day, no matter what, because here's the truth: success is not built on feeling. It's built on action. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have built great businesses, incredible careers, unshakable mindsets. Do you think they always felt like putting in the work? Do you think they were never tired, never doubtful, never afraid? Of course they were. But they did it anyway, because they understood something most people don't. Your future is not created in the moments when it's easy. It's created in the moments when you push through. That's why so many people never reach their full potential, because they keep waiting for the right time. They keep waiting for things to feel easier. But what if you stopped waiting? What if you decided right now that nothing, not fear, not doubt, not circumstances was going to stop you? Because listen, there are two types of people in this world. There are people who let life happen to them, and there are people who take control. There are people who make excuses, and there are people who make it happen. So which one are you? Are you the kind of person who lets setbacks define you? Or are you the kind of person who rises above them? Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect moment? Or are you going to decide that this is your moment? Because I promise you, if you keep waiting, you're going to wake up one day and realize years have passed. You're going to look back and wonder where all that time went. And the worst part, you're going to wish you had started sooner. So why not now? Why not today? Look, I don't care where you're starting from. I don't care what challenges you're facing. I don't care if you failed before, because none of that matters as much as what you do next. Every successful person you've ever heard of has been through setbacks. Every entrepreneur, every athlete, every world changer has had moments where they felt like quitting. But the difference, they didn't quit. They didn't let failure define them. They didn't let fear stop them. They didn't wait for permission. And that's exactly what you need to do. This is your time. This is your shot. And yeah, it's gonna be tough. But if you're willing to do what most people won't, you'll get to live the life most people never will. So let me ask you one more time, how bad do you really want it? Let's get something straight. There is no shortcut to success. No magic formula. No secret hack, no overnight transformation. I know a lot of people out there want you to believe otherwise. They sell you on the idea that success is easy, that if you just follow this one trick, you'll get rich, get fit, build your dream life without struggle. But that's a lie. The real secret, it's consistency, it's persistence. It's having the guts to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. You see, most people love the idea of success, but they hate the process. They want the rewards without the work. They want the results without the struggle. They want the achievement, but they don't want to sacrifice anything for it. And that's why most people stay stuck. Because the truth is, success demands something from you. It demands discipline when you'd rather be comfortable. It demands patience when you want fast results. It demands resilience when things don't go your way. And that's where most people fall off. They hit a roadblock, they face rejection, they don't see instant results, and they start thinking, maybe this isn't for me. But listen, success is never about talent alone. It's about who's willing to endure the process. Think about it. How many people do you know who started something, got excited, made big plans, talked about how they were going to change their life, and then they disappeared? They stopped showing up. They got discouraged and gave up. That's because most people only work when they feel motivated. And motivation is unreliable. It's like a spark, it burns bright at first, but it fades quickly. You don't need motivation. You need habits. See, motivation is what gets you started, but habits are what keep you going. Habits are what separate people who talk about success from people who actually achieve it. Because successful people, they don't leave their success up to chance. They don't rely on feelings. They create a system, they build habits that move them forward, whether they feel like it or not. And the best part, you can do the same. Because success is not about being the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. It's about being the most consistent. That's why you can't afford to keep stopping and starting. You can't afford to let temporary emotions decide your future. You have to decide that no matter what happens, no matter how you feel, no matter how long it takes, you're in this for the long haul. Because let me tell you, everything you want is on the other side of consistency. You want to build confidence, show up consistently. You want to master a skill, practice consistently. You want to change your life, take action consistently. And I know consistency isn't exciting. It's not glamorous, but it's the real secret to success. Because here's the reality: if you only work on your dreams when you feel like it, you'll never get anywhere. If you only take action when it's convenient, you'll always be behind. The people who win, they show every single day, even when no one is watching. So let me ask you, are you willing to be that person? Are you willing to show up when no one is cheering for you, when no one believes in you, when no one sees the work you're putting in? Because that's what it takes. Most people want to be seen winning, but they don't want to do the unseen work. They want recognition without sacrifice. They want the trophy without the grind. But let me remind you, the real work happens in the dark. When you're grinding alone, when you're putting in the hours and no one is clapping for you, when you're making sacrifices and questioning if it's even worth it. That's the part of the journey most people never talk about. The part where you feel invisible, where it seems like nothing is happening, where you wonder if all this effort is leading anywhere. But trust me, it is. Every small effort adds up. Every step forward, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goal. The problem is, most people don't stick around long enough to see the results. They quit when they don't see progress fast enough. They let frustration, self-doubt, and impatience kill their dreams. Don't let that be you, because here's what you need to understand: the process is what makes you. The struggle, that's what builds your character. The setbacks, that's what teaches you resilience. The discipline, that's what separates the great from the average. You have to embrace the process. Love it. Respect it. Understand that every challenge is shaping you into the person you need to become. Because the truth is, the version of you that starts this journey is not the version that's going to finish it. You're going to have to evolve. You're going to have to shed old habits. You're going to have to become someone new. And that's a good thing, because everything you want is already out there waiting for you. But the question is, are you willing to do what it takes to go get it? Most people aren't. Most people will settle. Most people will make excuses instead of making progress. But you don't have to be like most people. You can decide right now that you're going to be different, that you're going to be the kind of person who follows through. And not just when it's easy, and not just when you feel like it, every single day. Because the ones who stay committed, the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who keep pushing even when they don't see results, they're the ones who change everything. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna keep waiting, keep making excuses, keep starting and stopping? Or are you gonna be the person who stays in the game until the job is done? Because at the end of the day, your success is in your hands. And the only question that matters is, what are you gonna do about it? Let me hit you with something real. You are always in control of your future. No matter where you come from, no matter what's happened in your past, no matter how many times you failed, you still have the power to change everything. But the question is, do you believe that? Because if you don't believe it, you'll never act on it. If you keep telling yourself that life is happening to you instead of because of you, then you'll stay stuck exactly where you are. Most people don't even realize how much control they have. They go through life thinking their circumstances decide their future. They blame their upbringing, their environment, their past mistakes. They look at successful people and think, they had it easier than me. Let me tell you something, every person who has ever succeeded had reasons to quit. They had doubts, they had challenges. The difference? They didn't let those excuses win. And I need you to hear this. You don't need permission to change your life. You don't need someone to validate your dreams. You don't need perfect circumstances. You just need to decide that you're done playing small, that you're done making excuses, that you're done waiting for the perfect time, because the perfect time does not exist. You ever hear someone say, "I'll start when I'm ready"? Let me tell you a secret: nobody ever feels ready. Nobody wakes up one day with zero doubts, zero fears, and a perfectly clear path to success. That's not how it works. The people who win, they start before they're ready. They take action when they're still scared. They step into the unknown without having all the answers. Because here's the truth: success isn't about knowing everything. It's about being willing to figure it out. That's what separates the doers from the dreamers. Dreamers talk, doers move. Dreamers wait, doers start. So let me ask you, which one are you? Because the way you answer that question will determine everything about your future. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What if I fail? What if I mess up? What if I'm not good enough? And let me tell you right now, you will fail. You'll mess up. You will have moments where you doubt yourself. That's part of the process, but failure is not the opposite of success. It's the bridge to success. Nobody gets it right the first time. Nobody wins every single time they try. The difference between successful people and everyone else, they don't quit when they fail. They adjust, they come back stronger. And that's what I need you to do. Because the only way to truly fail is to stop trying. The only way to lose is to quit. And I know it's hard. The grind is exhausting. Some days it feels like you're putting in the work and getting nothing in return. You're trying, but you're not seeing results. And that's where most people give up, right before the breakthrough. You ever heard that story about the guy who was digging for gold? He spent years searching, digging, grinding, and then one day he got tired. He gave up. He walked away. And you know what happened? Someone else came in, dug just 3 more feet, and hit the gold. That's how most people lose in life. They stop when things don't happen fast enough. They walk away not knowing how close they really were. And I don't want that to be your story. Because let me tell you something, nothing you've done so far has been wasted. Every struggle, every setback, every lesson, it's all been preparing you for what's next. The only thing left to do, keep going. So here's what I need from you. I need you to make a decision, not a wish, not hope, a real decision. Because when you truly decide, everything changes. Decide that your past does not define you. Decide that fear is not in control of your life. Decide that you will not stop until you reach your goal. Because once you make that decision, you stop looking for excuses. You stop letting distractions pull you off course. You stop waiting for motivation and you start moving no matter what. And yeah, it's going to take time. Yeah, you're going to face obstacles. But let me remind you, there is no timeline on success. Some people blow up in a year. Some people take 10. But the ones who make it, they're the ones who never stop. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep waiting for life to change? Or are you going to be the one who changes everything? All right, we've come a long way. But let me ask you something. What are you going to do with everything you just heard? Because knowledge is useless without action. Motivation fades. Inspiration is temporary. But what really makes the difference? Execution. See, most people spend their whole lives collecting information. They watch videos, read books, listen to podcasts, take notes, but when it comes time to actually apply what they've learned, they freeze. They wait. They hesitate. Why? Because taking action is scary. It's uncomfortable. It forces you to step out of what's familiar, to risk failure, to face judgment. It's easier to keep learning, keep preparing, keep thinking about success instead of actually chasing it. But let me tell you something, nothing changes until you move. No amount of planning, no amount of research, no amount of motivation will ever replace what happens when you take the first step. And yeah, that first step is going to be ugly. It's going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect. But that's okay, because success is built on messy beginning. Nobody starts at the top. Nobody gets it right the first time. Every expert was once a beginner. Every ledge and had a day one. And now, this is your day one. This is the moment where you stop waiting and start doing. Where you stop watching from the sidelines and step onto the field. Where you stop hoping and start building. Because if you don't, if you let fear, doubt, or procrastination keep you stuck, in a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're gonna be in the exact same place. And that should scare you more than any failure ever could. Because regret is the real nightmare. Regret is waking up one day and realizing you wasted your potential. But you had the chance, but you let it slip through your fingers. That you could have built something incredible, but you played it safe. And I refuse to let that be your story. So here's what you need to do. Decide right now that you're all in. No more excuses. No more delays. No more waiting for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment, it's never coming. You create the perfect moment by taking action, by starting before you're ready, by stepping into the unknown with nothing but belief and the willingness to figure it out along the way. Because let me remind you, you already have everything you need to succeed. You don't need more talent. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You just need the courage to start. And the best part, once you do, everything changes. Because here's what most people don't realize. Success isn't one big moment. It's not a single decision. It's not one breakthrough. It's a series of small, daily actions that add up over time. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's pushing forward when doubt creeps. It's staying committed when no one is watching. That's what separates the winners from everyone else. Not luck, not talent, not shortcuts, just relentless consistency. And if you commit to that, if you decide right now that you're in this for the long haul, then nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take that first step today, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because the truth is, you're never gonna feel ready. You're never gonna have all the answers. You're never gonna be 100 sure, but you don't need certainty. You just need to move, because movement creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. And that's the real secret. Success isn't about waiting, it's about doing. So go, start, take the leap, trust yourself, because your future, it's in your hands. And remember, we are Wisdom Recorder, your knowledge source. If you got value from this, if something in this video spoke to you, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because the journey to success, it's not meant to be walked alone.